India's one and only voice spot with Mr. Lewis Wilson, founder of Haloocom.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining me on this episode of Karishma Connect. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I want to know more from your journey. And that's the very first question I ask. Tell me about that journey so far. How did you start? What brings you to where you are today? And why is it special to be where you are?
Thank you, Karishma. Thanks for inviting me in here. Well, when we look at Haloocom, and whenever somebody asks me how has been the journey, the immediate trigger point that comes in is two words: roller coaster. And I'm sure many other entrepreneurs, startups, companies, they would have always used this word called roller coaster. So that is something that has been the case with us as well. Having been spent close to 2 decades into the telecom space, into enterprise communication, contact center space, and building similar companies in the past, we thought that we need to come up with a brand, a product which could actually be able to lead the global enterprise communication space. So that's how, in the year 2018, we got started with Haloocom. From there, we had primarily we were into the unified communication, contact center applications, to telematics, IoT. So we had a plethora of offerings by 2024. So from 2018 to today, when we look at, we have 100,000 plus users, we have 500 plus clients, we have 14 different products, right from unified communication to IoT, and all of these are synced with each other. But all through this journey, though we are doing good and all of it, but then somehow, uh, as an entrepreneur, deep inside that the product that you are bringing it into the market, is it going to be just another powerful product, or is it going to move the whole world forward, right? And all the set of products that we had, we knew that we were making it even more powerful, because like I said, we want to lead the global. There are global giants, and if you look at our space where we are in here, uh, predominantly there are global players who are actually ruling them, right? You don't see a lot of Indian brands going vice versa. You will see a lot of Indian brands operating in India, but they don't go to the US, or they don't go to the West and try to make it big. So we have been thinking what could be the possible product, all these while doing the research and all of it. Every innovator needs to drive some sort of an inspiration from somewhere. Um, just the way I got a bit of, there are around one or two items where I felt I got some sort of an inspiration listening to your podcast. Like that, you get to get this kind of inspiration from all walks of life, from some instances, meeting people, seeing movies, reading books, and things like that. Now, if you look at, there is an old, I think 70s time movie is called Back to Future. And if you actually go and see, I think that's the movie name, yeah. And actually, if you go and you will see flying car, driverless car. You will see a phone where you have the touch screen phone. I'm talking about 70s. They are showing something called a card, which is today's credit card, right? A phone with, that became a tablet, and an iPhone and Android touchscreen phone. So even a driverless car. Now imagine, I as a person who wants to bring in a product, I get inspired seeing this. Wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing innovation. Why aren't we able to come up with an actual product like it? So many a times, these movie writers and directors, they are actually the biggest innovators, because they, I don't know from where they draw that that inspiration from, but they are the ones who show it to us that, hey, okay, that sounds good, a driverless car, or okay, so something like this is possible. And then you start in that track, and then you bring in all the tools, and then you kind of bring the team together, and then you think how I can. But then somewhere the beginning of that thought comes from from somewhere. So this is just on a lighter note, a comparison between both. So the same thing happened with us. So we said that our current products are only going to be another powerful product which is already there in the market. So in the market, there are products which has 10 things. You may have a product which has 20 things at a far aggressive pricing, and so that the benefit goes to the customer and things like that. But we wanted a product which is going to move the world forward. And then we asked ourselves, what is going to be the future of the contact center space? And we have been seeing the AI adoption in all walks of life. I mean, AI has become a hot topic with everybody, right from college going or a school going student to everybody talks about AI. Now, if you look at the AI, it has primarily three divisions of levels, what we call. There is something called artificial narrow intelligence, which is the first line. So you can just imagine that you have um, let's say this is a human, and let's say this is a machine. Okay. So now what happens is, when in an ANI, which is the artificial narrow intelligence, the machine and the human are at the same level, which means their intelligence are at the same level. Assuming that this particular product is it's a machine and this is a human, right? Now, what happens is, in ANI, both the intelligence are at the same level. Then from ANI, the product moves to what we call AGI, which is artificial general uh, intelligence. Now, in that, what typically happens is the machine and the human, their intelligence, the machine is little, little more intelligent than human. But it is not that human will not be able to replicate or vice versa. And then you have artificial super intelligence, where the difference is far higher, where many things which a human might not be able to do with a certain, productivity or certain efficiency, the machine will be able to deliver it very easily. So something like you see a lot of in the weapons, in the defense sector, you see a lot of robots being produced. So these are clearly into the artificial super intelligence bracket, right? The products, most of the products that we see around us, they are all at a ANI stage, and then it has to move into an AGI, and it has to move into ASI over a period of time, because at the end of the day, the machine needs more training to be able to execute certain things, right? So this led us to the birth of our product called Hexa. Now, Hexa happens to be, we call it a AI gent. Basically, it's not an agent, but it's a AI gent. Um, so we said the future of customer service, the future of contact centers, could be that majority of the task, if you see, because we have been into that space, we know about 70% of the tasks are repetitive tasks, mundane tasks, which can be automated, but you cannot just like that automate it. It does need a certain amount of intelligence to, do that. And that led to Hexa, which is an AI agent, and it happens to be India's first multilingual voice bot, which means it can speak to you in multiple languages. At the same time, it also has the capability to adaptive switching of languages as well. So let's say I'm talking to you now in English, and let's say we switch to Hindi, and you speak to me in Hindi. The immediate response from me will be in Hindi, right? You speak to me in Tamil, and the next word you're going to start in Tamil, and I'm going to respond back in Tamil. So we have bought the capability to get as closer as how a human would be able to converse with the customer in any language and switch from one language to the other language in the same conversation, just like a human. So this is how the whole journey from where we started to where we are, and we truly believe that a product like Hexa and many similar innovations. There are many entrepreneurs who are coming up with a lot of products around this space. I think these products, these innovations, are truly going to move the world forward. We are yet to see that. I'm sure we'll be able to see that.
But sir, what impact do you think that will have on like traditional jobs, traditional call center jobs?
So, often you would have, I mean, anything you read about AI, there is a section of people who says that, oh, you know what, AI is going to eat up a lot of job and, things like that. To all of that, if we look back, a lot of writers have wrote about it, a lot of articles about the industrial revolution, right? So before the industrial revolutions, it was the horses which had they had paramount importance, right? Right from transportation to logistics to agriculture activities. For a lot of things, horses were being used. And then you had somebody like Henry Ford, who went ahead with making automobile like more like a commodity, and making it a hit among a lot of people. And the first impact was for those horses, because they lost a lot of jobs, and they were not able to do it. But then I think uh, if you see today, we are those horses, and we have this so-called AI trying to take away our job. That's the thought, but that's not exactly the point here. I think what will happen with technologies which are there in the ANI and the AGI space, the narrow intelligence and the general intelligence. So, like I said, in the narrow intelligence, the human is more powerful than the machine. In the artificial general insurance, both are equal. Now, at this, you will not find any impact. You know, it will actually only be a boost to whatever your operations are. Currently, you are operating with, let's say, 100 people with maybe a boat like Hexa or any other product which is in the same space. You would be able to get 2x or 5x or 10x the productivity. What 100 people team can do with the boat, you can get the result of 500 people. The problem could be, which only we will know as we see the future or what we have seen in the past, is you have the super intelligence. Now, super intelligence is where the impact could be in terms of human jobs, or the reliability of human on human might be reducing. So that is in the say the final limit of artificial intelligence. For example, like I said, defense, right? Now, let's say I have 10 robots right now, and I have 20 humans right now, and I have to go fight a war with somebody or a battle. I would prefer to send my 10 boats, right? The simple reason, they don't have a value to their life, right? Whereas human value, there is a life, there is a value to it. So I would rather don't send the humans, but I would rather send the robots. It doesn't matter even if they die. It's all few money, but it's not the life that is getting impacted. So there it can happen that a country may decide, or a lot of countries have already started doing that. They would say that, hey, okay, let's hold on the recruitment, right? We already have a battalion of, I don't know, 1 crore, 2 crore, or 10 crore military forces. Let's not increase. Let's onboard a lot of these robots which can do these stuffs. So at that level is what I foresee. We only the future will be able to tell us. But at a ANI and the AGI level, which is what is 90% of the innovations today around us, this will only be more, a boost to the existing workforce. So it is not that you get rid of the agents and then deploy a product like this, because you can never remove the human aspect in any of these. You still need human to be picking up. And there are, of course, we are trying to train the bot in terms of emotions and prompts. And we have one of the video in our YouTube and the social media where we had somebody having a talk with Hexa, and he was trying to even flirt with Hexa, right? And we had him managing it in a very diplomatic, nice way. And so we are trying to bring in all those elements to ensure that at least the first level of screening can be done by a bot. We have a recruiter bot, again, that is also there in social media post, which can do. So you can imagine that you are the head of a recruitment company, and you have 500,000 recruiters who are sitting and making calls from morning till evening and reaching out to thousands of candidates, doing a first level of screening. Now, what you can do is you can have this board do the first round of screening. And then there is a filtered version that comes in. Then you can have your team focus only on that filtered version of things, right? So out of 30 days, 15 days will go for your 1,000 people to just do the first round of filtration. Let that first round of filtration be done by the board. You focus on the rest. So this is the way how ideally the artificial intelligence has to support the current, and it will never happen that bots will take complete control of human will be left out of job, because at the end of the day it is us humans who are building these bots. So we will know how to protect our race.
But sir, there's an entire narrative of when it comes to voice and AI, there's also the question of security, right? There's also the question of how far we are safe. Because I remember long back, I was speaking to a cybersecurity expert and he was telling me about how AI and voice is such a wonderful combination, but at the same time, there's security aspects to keep in mind. What's your thought on that as a tech entrepreneur in this field?
Yeah, I think it is surely a valid point, because naturally, we as humans, we are tend to uh, think that something that is in my control, I can decide where it should take a left, where it should take a right, when to stop, when to start. But the moment I'm going to teach somebody else to do that job, you do not have control over his or her action, let alone a machine. Now, one of the things we need to understand is human tends to make error, machines don't, right? Because we have certain emotional factors. Maybe we kind of try to give importance, priorities. And all a machine doesn't know all those things. You tell him, yeah, this is what you have to do. He will only do that. Maybe there are times where he's not supposed to do that, but he will still do it because that's how he's been trained. So the security aspect comes from that perspective, that this is not me who is controlling. I have taught certain things to this board, and now the artificial intelligence is trying to learn and going to simulate and do it. It is in the responsibility of products companies like us to keep in mind on what are the boundaries that we also call it in a AI or a tech words, guardrailing of in such boards, where you kind of create a boundary and ensure that the boat never ever crosses that boundary, right? So for example, I'll tell you an example. If we have a travel boat, and you actually call that boat, and if you're not calling from registered phone number which is against a PNR number, it will not give you any information. Just an example, right? uh, and if there is a KYC being happening, it will ensure that if you are inputting certain values, it will verify, it will do facial recognitions and things like that, to ensure that there is nobody is trying to misuse the data. So there are ways and methods to take care of the security part of it. But hey, security is a question. Nobody has can give you a full security. I mean, you walk across the road, you don't know what's going to happen. So it is just the way you design that product and the application to ensure that these things are taken care, and it will take some time. It's not that over 24 hours or 48 hours we'll be able to come up with a foolproof system. We know there is the autonomous car, the driverless car innovation, and the research is going on for many years. I mean, till today, you do not really see it being commercialized because there is a lot of aspects that needs to be taken care of. But are we saying that because of these such security aspects, or this because of the fear of breach, such innovations are not going to happen? It will happen whether you want it or not. It will eventually transform, right? So that's our response to say, and yeah, few things that we have taken care from a product standpoint is usually these voice bots are cloud based. Now we are the only company on earth as of now who provides the entire voice bot spectrum at the customer's premises, which means in your network. So you have complete faith and control over the data. Your company's data lies in your network. It is not going anywhere else, right? So what happens is, if your voice bot is in the cloud, you do not know where all is this voice bot sending this data to, or the traffic to, through multiple other channels. Here what happens is, we have built our product in a manner where everything sits at one place and it can communicate within itself locally, and so your data is also protected. This is just one of the steps to ensure data security. Like that, there are many other steps that companies like us are taking care of, because we are cognizant of this fact that yes, there is an area that needs our attention, and we are constantly working towards it.
Can you tell me, sir, what are some of your tips for budding AI specialists, especially when it comes to being conscious of a future that holds many possibilities, but at the same time comes with its own potential areas to address?
See, now let me give you more from the perspective of the in our space, in the generative AI, in spaces like that. We tend to go ahead and today we are entering into a world of no code platform, which means you don't even have to code. You can. I mean, the world is moving in that direction. So there is a tendency for an AI specialist to take whatever is readily available in the market and not build something using. There are a bunch of open source softwares which are available. There are coders world over, developers. There are communities who are developing things. Now that's a little longer path, but you would be able to build products and applications on that, rather than taking somebody. I mean, there are a lot of companies like AWS or Azure. They keep giving you ready-made, tailor-made AI APIs which you can use and integrate and get it done. Of course, I can get the boat ready in 10 days or 20 days using that, but then in the long run it's not going to be sustainable, because your cost increases and things like that. So I think the tip, the most important tip to all the innovators who are into the AI space in generative AI is try to build things on your own. It's going to take time, but there are large language models, open source LLMs which are available there. Take the tough route. It may take a little bit more time, but in the long run, you would be able to be in a far more superior place to be able to control the trajectory of your product as it goes to scale. You're not relying on anyone, but you're actually building it on your own.
My last question to you, sir, is what's your vision with Haloocom? Where do you look forward to taking it?
So like I said, we wanted to ensure that we be that Indian brand which leads the global communication, enterprise communication space. And I think with the help of Hexa, we surely be able to achieve that. So we are 100%. So what we are doing is, Karishma, just out of just a added information. So what happens is, in the board space, English, French, Spanish. These three languages are the most easiest to crack. right? The most complicated ones are the Indian languages because in India, thanks to the versatility, we have tons of language and we have millions of ways of saying the same word in your local dialect, right? So some people, if I come from Kerala, so there people tend to say office or not office, right? You call auto and they say auto, right? Just an example. You go to Bihar, the way they use certain terminologies are different, right? So now your board need to be strong enough to even understand these dialects. So what we have done is with Hexa, we have taken care of the difficult part already. We were already ready to go global with with these three languages, English, French, and Spanish. We just thought that we should take the most difficult piece first, solve it, because during that journey these becomes the easier ones which we can take care of. So we are already ready. Our product deployments are going on, actual deployments are going on, POCs are going on across with large banking, fintech, insurance companies mostly. And we already have set up certain GTM to go global. So I think that's the path that we are looking at.
I'm going to ask you one more question there. What kind of research went into actually developing and making sure that these languages were perfected?
Oh. So, these are all comes from data that you can generate to train these bots, because you should be able to, you need to have a Bihari who speaks in a Bihari speaking in Hindi to somebody or in English to somebody. So we went through a lot of audios and videos from YouTube, from different spaces online, converted them into certain formats, and then kept training the boat, and then we have to label it. So, for example, like I said, if it is let's say umbrella, right, and somebody says it's umbrella. Now, we had to manually go ahead and label that if somebody says umbrella, though for the machine it is umbrella, but if somebody says umbrella, it means actually umbrella, right? So this is where the huge amount of effort goes in, but it's just one time. We do it one time. Even 100 people say umbrella at any given instance, the machine will understand that okay, it is umbrella. But there is a one time effort, which is what most of the effort goes for from the R&D team across companies like us who are into this space, is to be able to train the boat that these means these. So these 10 variations actually means A. These 20 variations actually means B. So we have to label it. So this is how the platform gets better and better and better. Now, another example is, let's say you had a conversation with boat, and boat gives a response saying that, I'm sorry, I did not quite understand what you're saying, right? So all these, which wherever the board says that I could not understand what you're saying, it comes to us as a report, and our team goes and checks what is that they could not understand, and then train them. Then we call and ask the same question again, and now the boat is able to give the right response, which means the boat is getting trained. So this is how the whole magic we've been doing.
So, but as a leader, what has that taught you about perseverance and to kind of keep going? Unless you're behind a product that has gone through so many rounds of success, failure, success, failure, success, failure. What has that taught you? And that's my last to last question to you.
Sure. I think see, if the product is trying to solve a larger problem, and like I've been telling from the beginning, if your product is trying to move the world forward, then there is no end game for this up and down. This is going to be a constant circle, because we want to reach, let's say, a pinnacle called A. to ensure that now we have moved the world forward. And then you reach A, you realize that actually you can, go A1, A2, A3. So the objective is that. So when the objective is very clear that we want to move the world forward, then you also have to constantly keep innovating, make it better. And this space is also, it used to be a blue ocean, but not anymore. It is getting a lot of other entities and innovators are also coming into this space, which is what we want, because more the people, in fact, there are also, our government of India is taking a lot of initiative into the generative AI space. So, which means that the space is going to. So, we need more people to come forward and create that one unit or an army, and then that's how the product is going to get better. So, I think when the vision is very clear, I mean the objective is very clear that you want to have your product move the world forward. There is never a day where human will come to a stage where we say that, oh yeah, I have moved the world forward, now what, now let's move it even forward, right? So that's how generation to generation we have been evolving. So I think it will never end, the story will continue, and that's the beauty of all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Wishing you all the best. Thank you for joining me once again. It's been a pleasure.
Knock, knock. Are you still here? Well, I'm super happy that you are. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Please do like, share, and subscribe to Karishma Connect across platforms. And I look forward to bringing you many more such amazing stories from around the world. If you've got one, please do get in touch. Lots of love.